It started with laughter, not the kind that warms your heart, but the kind that cuts deep. A woman named Tanya had walked into a car dealership in Georgia, her heart full of hope, her hands trembling slightly as she held a small folder of papers. She was finally ready to buy a car, something safe for her and her 2 kids. But instead of being greeted with kindness, she was met with cruel jokes, whispers, and smirks. Maybe she's gonna pay with food stamps, one salesman whispered loud enough for others to hear. The group chuckled. Tanya's smile faded. Her dream day was turning into a nightmare, but none of them knew the woman they just mocked was about to change every single one of their lives, forever. Hey everyone, welcome back to Truthlines USA, where real stories meet real hearts. If you believe in kindness, justice, and second chances, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and tell us in the comments what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more true stories that remind the world compassion is powerful. Tanya Brown was 35 years old, a single mom of 2, Jaden, age 9, and little Naomi, age 5. She worked double shifts at a nursing home, took night classes at the community college, and still found time to volunteer at her church on Sundays. Life hadn't been easy, but she always told her kids, "We may not have much, but we've got love, and that's something no one can take from us." For the past 3 years, she'd been saving every extra dollar, sometimes skipping her own meals just to put a little aside. Her old car, a beat-up '02 Honda Civic, had finally given up. The engine blew, the repair costs were more than it was worth, and she'd been taking the bus with her kids through rain and cold ever since, but now, she finally had enough for a down payment. She wasn't asking for luxury, just something safe, something reliable. She wanted to surprise her kids, to show them that hard work really pays off. That morning, she dressed neatly, her best blouse, hair pulled back tight. She carried her folder with her pay stubs, her pre-approval letter from the credit union, and a prayer in her heart. When she walked into Hanson Auto Sales, the smell of new tires and coffee filled the air. A group of salesmen stood near the front desk, laughing and checking their phones. Tanya smiled nervously and approached. "Hi," she said softly, "I'm looking for a used SUV, something under $12,000, if possible." The man behind the counter, a tall guy with slicked back hair, barely looked up. "Aha," he muttered. "Credit or cash?" "Credit," Tanya said proudly, handing him the papers from her credit union. He took them, glanced, and then smirked. "Food stamps don't count as income, you know," he said loudly. The other men laughed. Tanya froze. Her cheeks burned. She tried to smile it off, but the sting ran deep. "Excuse me," she asked quietly. "Relax," he said, still grinning. "I'm just joking. We get all kinds in here. All kinds." The words hit harder than he knew. Tanya wanted to turn and leave, but something inside her whispered, "Stay calm. Don't let them win." She straightened her shoulders and said, "Well, all kinds of people deserve respect." For a moment, the laughter stopped. The salesman shrugged, pretending not to care. "Sure. Let's see what we can do." He led her to the lot, showing her a few older cars that barely ran. One had a cracked windshield. Another smelled like mold. She asked if they had anything else, maybe something newer, and he said, "Not unless you got a cosigner who actually makes money." She bit her lip. "Thank you for your time," she said, holding back tears, and walked away. Tanya drove straight to the diner across the street, sat in a booth, and tried to breathe. She wasn't angry, she was tired. Tired of being looked down on, tired of being treated like less. As she sat there, an older man with silver hair and kind eyes noticed her wiping her eyes with a napkin. He was sitting a few tables away, reading a newspaper and sipping coffee. After a moment, he stood up and walked over. "Ma'am, are you all right?" he asked gently. She tried to smile. "I'm fine, sir. Just a long day." He looked at the folder on the table, the pay stubs, the pre-approval papers. "You trying to buy a car?" She nodded. "I was. But some people don't see past what you look like." The man frowned. "You were at Hanson Auto?" "Yes," she said softly. "But it's okay. I'll try somewhere else." The man smiled. "No, it's not okay. Wait right here a minute." He walked outside, pulled out his phone, and made a call. Tanya didn't know it, but the man's name was Robert Hanson, the owner of Hanson Auto Sales. About 10 minutes later, Robert returned, smiling warmly. "Ma'am," he said, "come back with me. I think there's been a misunderstanding." Tanya hesitated. Sir, I really don't want trouble. You won't have any trouble, he assured her. I promise. They walked back into the dealership together. The moment the salesman saw Robert, their faces changed. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. A gentleman, Robert said calmly, this is Ms. Brown. I understand she came in earlier looking to buy a vehicle, and was treated poorly. No one spoke. Robert turned to the tall salesman. Care to explain? The man stammered, it was just a joke, sir. Robert's tone hardened. A joke at a customer's expense is not a joke. It's a failure of character. He took the folder from Tanya's hands, glanced through it, and nodded. Ms. Brown, your credit is excellent. You've worked hard, I see. I'd be honored if you'd let me personally show you what we have. For the next hour, Robert walked her through the lot himself, showing her options within her budget. He was patient, respectful, and even cracked a few gentle jokes that made her laugh for the first time that day. Finally, she found it, a 2018 Toyota RAV4. Clean, safe, and perfect for her kids. Robert smiled. That's a good one. We'll make it work. She blinked. But that's a little over what I planned. I'll handle the difference, he said. Consider it an apology on behalf of my staff and a thank you for reminding me why this business exists in the first place. Tanya's eyes filled with tears. Sir, you don't have to. I want to, he said. You deserve to be treated with respect, always. When the paperwork was done, Tanya stood by her new car, holding the keys, her heart overflowing. Robert extended his hand. Drive safe, Ms. Brown. And thank you for showing me that kindness doesn't need to shout to be heard. As she drove off, the same salesman who had mocked her earlier watched in silence. Robert turned to him. You see that woman? That's someone who's worked harder than you can imagine. If you can't treat people like that with dignity, you don't belong here. The man apologized quietly. But Robert wasn't finished. He gathered the staff and spoke, we're not just selling cars, we're serving people. The color of someone's skin, the size of their wallet, none of it gives you the right to forget your humanity. From now on, this dealership will be known for respect, not ridicule. The room fell silent. And for the first time in a long while, some of those men started to see what kindness really looked like. A few weeks later, Tanya returned, this time with her kids. She wanted to thank Robert again. Jaden and Naomi ran around the lot, laughing, climbing into the back seat of their new car. Robert came out, smiling. You've got a beautiful family, he said. Thank you, Tanya replied. I just wanted you to know, your kindness changed more than my day. It reminded me that good people still exist. Robert smiled softly. And your strength reminded me that I can do better, too. Kindness doesn't always look like grand gestures or big donations. Sometimes it's just choosing to see someone really see them when the world looks away. Tanya didn't fight back with anger, she stood tall with grace. And Robert didn't try to erase what happened, he made it right, one act of compassion at a time. That's the power of kindness, it heals, it humbles, and it transforms. So the next time you see someone struggling, remember this story. You never know what they've been through, and you never know how far a little bit of kindness can go, because sometimes, the greatest victories aren't won with money or power, but with heart. Thanks for watching today's story on Truthlines USA. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still matters. And tell us in the comments, when was the last time someone's kindness changed your day? Stay true, stay kind, and we'll see you next time.